Okay, this is quadratic functions, MT2 Lesson 1. Okay, what will you learn? You'll be able to factor out the greatest common factor from an expression. You'll be able to factor quadratics where a is equal to 1. List all the different ways you can multiply negative 24. Okay, so if I have negative 24, think of your times tables. 1 times 24. 2, if you take a calculator, 24 divided by 2, you're going to get 12. 24 divided by 3, you're going to get 8. And 24 divided by 4 is going to be 6. If I do 5, 5 will not be an integer that would divide into 24 without a remainder. 6 we already have. 7 won't be an integer to divide into 24 without a remainder. 8 works. We already have 8, 9, 10, 11, and we've got 12. So these are the factors of negative 24. Now, to get negative 24, you could do 1 times negative 24, or you can switch the signs and do negative 1 times 24. So you can just switch those signs. Same thing here, 2 times negative 12, or you can do negative 2 times 12. So you can continue that on through these factors, okay? All right, greatest common factor. Okay, what you want to do, the reason we did that warm up is for what we're going to do here. List the factors of 25. 1 times 25, 5 times 5. 30 is 1 times 30, 2 times 15, and 3 times 10. All right, and 5 times 6. Okay, the greatest common factor. A factor is a number that is able to divide into 25 that doesn't have a remainder. The highest number we have here is 5, and I've got 5 times 55. That is, I wrote 2 5s there. I just mean 5 times 5 there. Okay, so 5, so the GCF is 5. 5 is a number that would divide out of 25 and also out of 30. Okay, what is the GCF? Okay, with 12, you can start listing 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and I believe that's it. For 42, 1 times 42. We've got 2 times 21. 3 will work. I think it's 14. 4 won't work. 5 doesn't work. 6 times 7. 7 works. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and I think that's it. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Right here, it looks like 6 is going to be your GCF. Okay, 25 is going to be 1 and 25. We're going to have 5 and 5. 100, we're going to have 1 times 100. You're going to have 2 times 50. You're going to have 4 times 25. You're going to have 10 times 10. Okay, 75, you're going to have 1 times 75. You're going to have 3 times 25. And I believe you're going to have 15 times 5. Okay, so we're looking for a number that divides out of all 3. Okay, I'm looking, I think there's 25 here, 25 here, and 25 here. So the GCF is 25. Okay, now we've got 4x and 8x. So let's list our factors here. 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. We have 2 x's. We have 1 times 8. We've got 2 times 4. We have 1x. So the greatest number that they all have in common is 4. And then this time we have variables. You have 1x here, but you got 2 x's here. What can I divide out of both terms that is the same amount? Well, it'll be 1x. So we'll put that there. Okay. So that's your GCF, 4x. Okay. Now, what's the greatest common factor here? Okay, well, here we've got 1 times 12, we've got 2 times 6, we have 4 times 3, we have 2 m's in this term. In this term over here, we've got 1 times 24, we've got 2 times 12, we have 3 times 8, we have 4 times 6, and we've got 1 m. So what's the biggest thing that they have in common? 12, and they each have an m that we can divide out. So the GCF even though we have a minus sign here, we're still doing the GCF out of both terms is 12m. Okay, next problem here. What is the GCF? So let's look at 25, 30, and 15. Eventually you should be able to get to the point where you don't have to write these out every single time. If it does help you, please do it. Okay, 1 times 30, we've got here 2 times 15. And we've already done these on some other problems, so you can just go back and look at your problems there. 3 times 10 and 6 times 5. 15 is going to be 15 times 1 and 5 times 3. Okay, so, and then this one has a p. All right, so what is the biggest number they all have in common? 5. Okay, now this term has 2 p's, this has a piece, but the c term does, or this last term here, does not have a p-value. So if all 3 terms don't have a p, then you can't include it on the greatest common factor. So our greatest common factor here is just 5. Okay. Now it says factor out. Means we're going to divide. Factor out means divide. Divide the GCF from each term. Okay? All right, so I've got 5x here and I have 10 here. So we're going to divide each term by 5 because that is going to be our GCF, leaving me with x plus 2. Okay, the GCF of the 8p and 6p is going to be 2p. Okay, so that when we divide each of these by 2p, okay, we're going to get 4p minus 3. That's a 3, guys. All right. All right, factor out. Okay, now, I kind of was lazy earlier, and I apologize, but you need to see if, and I guess it's because I knew they were, but you don't necessarily know if they are, make sure that this is in standard form. Standard form means from the highest exponent down to the lowest. Get it in that format first. Okay, now let's look at 4 and 2. What's a number that we can divide out of 4 and 2? 2. All right. Then each of these terms has an n, so we can divide out one n. Now, here's the thing. This first term, if the first term has a negative, you need to divide that out. So if I divide this term by 2n, and I divide this term by 2n, 4 divided by 2 is 2. And if I take one of the n's away, it leaves me an n plus 2n divided by 2n. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay, now, one of the issues we have here, let me see, I need this gone, is we factored out a negative in the beginning. Well, this originally was negative, so this is going to change to a positive, and this was a positive, but I factored out a negative, so this is now going to be negative. The signs will switch. Okay, and that will be your answer. Okay, factor out. Okay, so let me just, let's think about rewriting this out. 2x to the third plus 8x squared minus 42x. Okay, this is what the problem is. Okay, let's think about what we can divide out of 2, 8, and 42. Now, one thing I like to do is see if the smallest number, is it a factor of 8 and 42? It is. So we know 2 will divide out. Each term has at least one x. Okay, so we can divide this by 2x, we can divide this by 2x, and we can divide this by 2x. All right, 2 divided by 2 is 1, x to the third. Taking out 1x there will give me x squared. 8 divided by 2 is 4. X to the second divided by x is 1x. And 42 divided by 2 is 21. And then the x's subtract to 0 there. Okay, this one is in standard form. What can I divide out of 3, 6, and 27? A 3. Do all the terms have an x? No. So if we divide everything through by 3, when it says factor out, you're dividing x squared plus 2x plus 9. That'll be your final answer there. All right, what are the factors of 30? Okay, I think we've done 30 before, so you can look at your notes. This is on repeat. Okay. 6, and 5, right? Those are the factors of 30, okay? All right. So it says what is a factor? Well, a factor is going to be one of two or more integers that's exactly divided into another integers, no decimals, okay? Can't have decimals. So simplify this polynomial, okay? And this is two binomials. There is no sign in between, so we're going to multiply. So x times x is x squared. X times 5 is 5x. And we did this when we did the polynomial unit. Remember when we multiplied and we learned how to then combine like terms. So x squared plus 7x plus 10. This is a quadratic. How do I know it's a quadratic? Highest exponent is a 2. All right. So how do we find the factors? We're going to go backwards. What you're going to do now is, if you think about this, we had two binomials here. We multiplied together to get the quadratic. Now we have the quadratic, and we are going to get two binomials. We're going to put it into the, we're going to take this quadratic, and we're going to pull it apart, okay? Okay, so the factors are what you get from division. So let's go back here for a minute and let's show how we got those. There's a couple of ways you can do it. The easiest way, I believe, is to do it this way. Okay, we're gonna draw an X here. Okay, and this, in the top part of the X is A times B, or A times C. Excuse me, I need to go back. Sorry, hit the eraser. Doesn't want to give me the eraser. Let's go back here. Okay, this really should, oh, there we go. Okay. This should be A times C, and then this term here is B. This is in the format ax squared plus bx plus c. And I'm just going to show you how they came up with these two binomials. Okay, what you want to do is A times C. So in front of this A value here is a 1, this C value is a 10. So you're going to do 1 times 10, and you're going to put that number here. The B value is 7. You're going to put a 7 right here. And you're going to list the factors. This is why we practice listing the factors for 10. 1 times 10, 2 times 5. And then you're going to look for a pair of numbers that would add up to be 7. So let's put an add sign here and a times sign here. So let's try 2 and 7. Is 2 plus 7, or excuse me, this isn't a 7. We need a 5, excuse me. I was thinking about 7. Is 2 plus 5 7? Yes. Is 2 times 5 10? Yes. So we're going to take these two x's here and we're going to split them. And then we're going to use this 2 and this 5 to put positive 2 here, positive 5 here. And we just factored a quadratic. That is what is showing over here. That is how they came up to x plus 2, x plus 5. These are called, these that we just found by pulling it apart, these are the factors. These are two things that will multiply together to give us that quadratic equation. Okay, so I basically kind of showed you how to do this, okay? In this problem here, we have y equals x squared minus 21x minus 72. You want to identify your A, B, and C. And remember, this is in the format, in the standard form of a quadratic equation. This is bx plus c. Your A is 1. There is a 1 right in front of that x. Your B is going to be negative 21. This is plus bx, excuse me. And your C is going to be negative 72. So if we do A times C, 1 times negative 72 is negative 72. The B value is negative 21. Okay, So what you're going to do is we've now filled in A and C and B. Now, to get these factors, what we're going to do is we're going to list the factors of 72. We've got 1 times 72, we have 2 times 36, we have 3 times, I don't know, 3 will go in there, 24, yep, 4 and 18, 5 won't work, 6 will work, 7 won't work, 8, 9 is there, 10, 11, and 12. All right, okay. Now, we need to come up with a pair of numbers that will give me negative 21. So I'm looking here, 18, 4, 2 is 2. It's probably going to be that one, okay? And because B is negative, the biggest factor will be negative. So we're going to have 3 and a negative 24. 3 plus negative 24 is negative 21, and 3 times negative 24 is negative 72. So then we're going to use these numbers, 3 and negative 24, to write our final answer. You're going to put x's here, and that comes from your x squared back over here. Okay, then you're going to put the 3 as positive, so put plus 3 here, and then you've got a negative 24 here. Now, what do these represent? These help us find the x-intercepts. To get the x-intercepts, you take x plus 3, set it equal to 0, and you take x minus 24 and set it equal to 0. So you're going to get x is negative 3, and you're going to get x is 24. So x is negative 3 would be negative 3, 0, and this over here is going to be 24, 0. Okay? Now, do you see this negative 72 here in the C position? That is where it crosses the y-axis at 0, negative 72. So basically, if you know that information, you've got enough to get, and the highest exponent is a 2, so you know it has to be a quadratic. So it'll be a u. So notice this is what we have in step 5. Okay? All right. So let's practice a couple here. Okay? Whoops, excuse me. Let's go back. Okay, so let's practice a couple here. We have y equals x squared minus 6x plus 9. Okay, let's identify A, our B, and our C. Okay, A is 1, B is negative 6, and C is 9. Okay, to get the top of the x, this number right here, remember it's A times C. This is our B term, okay, which comes from these letters right here. Okay, now we're going to do A times C was 9. So we're going to list the factors of 9. 1 times 9 and 3 times 3. We need negative 6. Okay, which ones could give me negative 6? Probably these, negative and a negative. So if I go negative 3, negative 3. Is negative 3 plus negative 3 negative 6? Yes. Is negative 3 times negative 3 9? Yes, correct. So intercept form, we're going to write it y equals x minus 3 and x minus 3. Your two factors are going to go in here for your p and your q, okay? So now, to label it, another way we can write this is x minus 3 to the square. Now, if you want to know what this number is, you're going to take x minus 3, set it equal to 0, add 3, so x is 3. So this coordinate right here is 3, 0. There's your 3 right there. That is a comma, okay? Now, the y-intercept right here, C is your y-intercept. This number here is 9. So this coordinate is 0, 9. Okay? Okay, here we go. Once again, we have 1 here. So our A is 1, B is 8, C is 7. Okay? Remember your C is your y-intercept. If you want to write that down there, you can. So right here is the y-intercept at 0, 7. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do A times C. That's this right here, A times C. Your B value is here. You want to write A times C, that's great. Okay, factors of 7 are just 7 and 1. So 7 and 1, and you're both going to add to those. So we're going to say y equals x plus 7 and x plus 1. Now these are always going to be x's as long as your A is 1. Okay, when A is 1, you can just split these two x's down here. Okay, now to get where it crosses the x-axis, you do the opposite. If it's positive 7, it's negative 7. So this right here is going to be negative 7, 0, and this right here is going to be negative 1, 0. Okay, because this one is x equals negative 1. Do the opposite of what's in the parentheses. Okay, A here is 1, B here is 5, C here is negative 6. Okay, right down here, this is going to be 0, negative 6. That's your y-intercept. Okay, now you do your A times C, 1 times negative 6, you get negative 6. Then your B value is 5 right there. That's your B. Okay, now we need to use negative 6 to get us some factors, 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Okay, think about this. This is a positive 5, so both of these would have to be positive. But is a positive times a positive going to get us a negative? No. So let's try this one. Let's do positive 6, negative 1. That will give us 5 when we add them together. Is negative 1 times positive 6 can give us negative 6? Yes. So negative 1 and 6. Okay, so this intercept form is going to be x minus 1 and x plus 6. All right, so this coordinate here is going to be negative 6, 0. This coordinate here is going to be 1, 0. Because you set these equals 0 or do the opposite of what's in the parentheses. All right, once again, here A is 1, B is negative 1, and C is negative 12. So this answer right down here, this is your y-intercept. This is going to be 0, negative 12. Okay, right here, we don't know yet. We're going to figure this part out. Okay, so we've got 12. Factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. We need 1. It's probably going to be this one. Because this is negative right here, the largest one's going to be negative, this is going to be positive. So we've got 3 and negative 4. So we've got x plus 3 and x minus 4. So we've got x equals negative 3, we have x is 4. So this coordinate here is going to be negative 3, 0. This coordinate is going to be 4, 0. Okay? All right. Okay, so let's practice. Okay? So let's identify A, B, and C. So A is 1, B is 5, C is negative 84. Okay, you've got your things in here. You're going to have to do the factors of 84. 1 times 84, 2 times 42. Then we've got 3 times 28. I think we've already done this number. 4 times 21. 5 won't work. 6 will work. 14. 7 will work. I think it's 12. 8 won't work. 9, no. 10, no. 11, no. 12 we've already got. Okay, we need a 5. It's probably going to be right here. So we're going to go plus 12 minus 5. No, I said that wrong. Negative 7 and 12 to get 5. Excuse me. So y equals x minus 7 and x plus 12. Okay, your y-intercept is your C value. So put negative 84. And your x values are going to be the opposite of what is currently inside the parentheses. So 7 and negative 12. All right. Okay, A is 1, B is 20, C is 51. Okay, so this is your A times C, this is your B, So 51 is going to be 1 and 51, 3 and 17. I don't know if there's anything else. So we're going to use these two. They're both going to be positive, 3 and 17. All right, the y equals x plus 3 and x plus 17. Okay, so we get x is negative 3, we get x is negative 17. Okay, the y-intercept is the c value, and then we have negative 3, negative 17. All right, okay. All right, this is a times c, okay? So let's think of 16. You got 1 and 16. You've got 2 and 8. And you've got 4 and 4. Okay, I'm going to use 4 and 4. Minus, minus. That's great. So intercept form is y equals x minus 4 and x minus 4. Another way you can write this is you can say x minus 4 squared. Okay, standard form would be if you multiplied it back together, if you did this times this and this times this, you would get x squared minus 4x plus 16, which is going to give you x squared minus 8x plus 16. Okay, we've got negative 24. So negative 24 factors are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. We need 5. I'm going to guess it's this, negative and a positive. So positive 3, negative 8. So we're going to go y equals x plus 3 and x minus 8. Okay, now to get standard form, you're going to take x plus 3 and you're going to multiply it by x minus 8. X times x is x squared. X times negative 8 is negative 8x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. Combine like terms, x squared minus 5x minus 24. Okay? All right. Okay, intercept form will be y equals something, right? Okay, y-intercept is going to be 0, negative 21. And I know that because a is 1, b is negative 4, and c is negative 21. Remember, this is the y-intercept, okay? All right, a times c, 1 times negative 21 is negative 21. B is negative 4. So I got to come up with this. I wrote 24 here. I apologize. This has got to go away. And we need to go back. Okay, go back. Sorry about that. We need a negative 21. Okay, 21. We've got 1 and 21. We've got 3 and 7. Okay, so we've got 3, 7. This one has to be a negative, okay, for it to work. So we have x plus 3 and x minus 7. So remember, this is x equals negative 3. This is going to be x is 7. You do the opposite. So negative 3 and 7. All right? Okay, so let's do this one. A is 1, B is 10, C is 25. A times C is up here. That'll be 25. This is your B value, which is 10. Okay? And so, okay, factors of 25 going to be 1 and 25 and 5 and 5. So I'll put 5 here and 5 here. They're both going to be positive. So intercept form is x plus 5 and x plus 5. And you can write this as x plus 5 squared because you have two of the same. Y-intercept is 0, 25. X-intercept is 5. It's got to be the opposite, and negative 5. Okay? Okay, go back to your class notes. Factor this completely. All right? Okay, I'm just going to do this, my little x. My A is 1, my B is 4, and my C is negative 21. So I'll put negative 21 here. This is A times C. My B value is 4. So you're going to write the factors of 21, B1 and 21, and 3 and 7. It's probably going to be a plus minus here. These are going to be the two we choose. Negative 3 and 7. Let's check to see if it works. Is negative 3 plus 7 4? Yes. Is negative 3 times 7 negative 21? Yes. So my factored form, my intercept form is going to be x minus 3 and x plus 7. Okay, factor completely. Once again, we have our A is 1, B is negative 9, and C is 20. All right, so let's do our A times C. My x's are terrible. It should be 20. B is negative 9. Okay, factors of 20, 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 5 and 4. And this is going to be the one we're going to use for negative 9. Negative 5 and negative 4 add up to be negative 9, and they multiply to 20. So we're going to get y equals x minus 5 and x minus 4. Okay, this one right here, A is 1, B is negative 2, and C is negative 15. All right, so we're going to do an x chart. Get negative 15 here, we get negative 2 here. Factors are, and you'll probably get quicker at the factors as you go along and do these more and more, okay? Be negative, so negative 5 and 3, they add up to be negative 2, and they multiply. So we're going to get y equals x minus 5 and x plus 3. Okay, factor completely what you want to do. And I have been kind of lazy throughout this thing because I knew that A was always 1. But in this case, look at this. Our A is 2. So maybe look for a GCF. Is there a GCF? Is there a number that I can divide out of all the terms? Yes, 2. So let's divide this by 2, let's divide this by 2, and let's divide this by 2. So we're going to get x squared minus 2x minus 15. Okay, now from there, set this 2 aside and choose your new. A is going to be 1, B is going to be negative 2, C is negative 15. Then do your x, negative 15. This will just keep your numbers lower by getting the GCF out of there. So negative 15, our numbers are 1 and 15 and 5 and 3. So it's going to be negative 5 and a positive 3. So we're going to do y equals x minus 5 and x plus 3. So we're going to get y equals that, just that. So never mind right there. So there is your factored form. Okay, once again, see if there's something you can factor out of all three terms. There is, it's a 5. That'll leave us with x squared minus 3xy minus 10y squared. Okay, this one's a little different because we've got variables in this position down here. So think of this, your A is 1, B is negative 3, and C is 10. So A times C, let's do our x again. A times C is 10. What is our B value? Negative 3. Okay, factors of 10 are 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. We're going to use 2 and 5. This will be negative. This is positive. So plus 2 minus 5. Do they add together to give me negative 3? Yes. Do they times together to give me a 10? That would be no. So 5 and 3, we need negative. Oh, this should be a negative 10. Pardon me. This is a negative 10. Okay, now it works. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to write this in factored form. Okay, what did we factor out at the very beginning? 5. Okay, so we have 1x squared here, so split your x's. Okay, now, do you see this y squared down here? Split your y's, y and a y. Okay, what were the numbers we came up with as the factors? 2 and negative 5. So we're going to say plus 2, it goes with the y, and minus 5y. You just factored that quadratic. Okay? Okay, if you have this assignment, complete the back of the worksheet for extra credit if this is part of your class. Okay, finish up MT1 lesson notes and worksheet. Complete the puzzle for extra credit if that's part of what your teacher provided for you. Do the Delta Math assignment. Upload a picture of your Delta Math homework. Complete exit ticket for MT1 lesson 2. Thanks.